Today is just a quick update and a reminder in connection with marketing and advertising, and a reflection on the regulatory framework in New Zealand. So in addition to the Commerce Commission monitoring the consumer law aspects of competition law in New Zealand under the Fair Trading Act, we've also got the Advertising Standards Authority. It is an aspect of marketing and advertising in New Zealand which is often not widely understood when you've got global or Australian brands conducting advertising and marketing activity within the New Zealand market. So the Advertising Standards Authority has various codes which you need to consider if your business is advertising goods or services, and particularly in connection with the 5 sectors where you need to take extra care, which is alcohol, children and young people, finance, therapeutic and health, and then also gambling. So trade promotions that are operating in New Zealand, you also need to be very mindful of the regulation here, which is quite different from other markets such as Australia, which has a state-based permitting system, for example. So the Advertising Standards Authority is often used by competitors to tip off the Advertising Standards Authority as to any sort of unfair advertising practices in breach of the relevant codes which I've just mentioned. The process for responding to a complaint to the Advertising Standards Authority can be quite costly, and it's really important that you treat any correspondence which you receive from the ASA seriously. The way that you respond at the outset will really help the ASA to understand what practices and systems or processes you have in place to ensure that you're not in breach of any of those codes. So just a reminder to make sure that you're aware of that aspect of the regulatory framework here in New Zealand. Make sure that all of your advertising, and particularly comparative advertising, is clear and accurate and tells the full story. If you're comparing goods or services, make sure you're comparing exactly the same service. You have to compare apples with apples. Be really careful when using puffery. An exaggeration that relates to facts rather than an opinion could be misleading. And then just be very mindful if you engage in any sort of advertising or marketing where you're using a competitor's trademark. So make sure any use of a competitor trademark is honest. It doesn't take advantage of the competitor trademark, or it wouldn't be, damaging to the reputation of the competitor or the competitor's products. So if you're ramping up your advertising and marketing here in New Zealand, you don't have a New Zealand-based team, it's a service that we offer, and we're often asked by Australian retailers and suppliers if we can review marketing and advertising. So having an understanding of those core codes and also those sort of high risk areas, and particularly around therapeutic, health, gambling, children and young people, finance and alcohol, reach out, and likewise if you need help with trade promotions, we can assist you with that.